Oh, what the fuck is wrong with me? Ladies and gentlemen, I am YouTube influencer. Boogie to 988.
You are a tastemaker.
Love and respected within the game industry, not just for my opinions, but for my ability to warble my jowl. Oh, shit. You got any talents like that, Pete? You save me from my embarrassment right now?
No. Actually, my greatest talent is that every time I try to do a different dialect, it sounds the same.
Oh,
So
let's try
like
it.
Southern, British, Australian,
Okay, quick,
New
do Southern.
Zealand, French, they all just sound like the same
Well, let's
sort
hear
of
Southern. Let's hear Southern.
um
I'm gonna make you do this. So
I do.
that is awful.
Yeah.
Oh my
You guys
god.
don't say that?
Okay, British, go.
Driving around trucks.
It's your British. So your best Dan Bull impression. Go.
My best what impression?
British. Give me British.
Hello, mate. No, that's Australian. Good day, mate. Okay, so all of my British-ish impressions are the same. My southern one's slightly different.
Hello, mate. I don't even know what language that is supposed to be. I don't even know. Now you may not notice, but I originally had a southern accent. This is about how I actually sound growing up. About like this. And one day my brother come home and he said, you need to lose that accent. You don't want to sound like an asshole. And I did. So here we are. But occasionally I still talk like that. I can't help it. God, I'm going to do it all night now. Fuck. All right, so somebody in the chat, we're going to throw it to subscriber-only chat in a little bit.
Okay.
And we'll see what they have to say. So if you're a subscriber, you might want to hold your questions till then. If you're a non-subscriber, feel free to just spam the channel, and hopefully I'll see it in the moment time. Now, the very first question that was repeated many, many times, DirectX 12. Now, this is, as I've heard it rumored, and you probably can correct me. I like actually somebody who knows what they're talking about instead of my stupid ass hearing it 3 times filtered and on Reddit. DirectX 12, Xbox One, right? Potentially
sort of.
coming to Xbox One. That's rumored.
Yeah,
And
it will partially work with it.
And definitely coming to 8.1 only. Windows 8 only. No Windows 7 support. Does that sound right to you? Have you heard these things?
That part isn't clear yet. As far as they've announced or even rumors, I would assume so. I mean, Microsoft, they know that Windows 8 has been basically a disaster, but they're not going to give up on it. They're just going to keep giving you reasons to buy it. So I would assume it will be Windows 8 only.
Man, Windows 8. What do you think about it? As a gamer, as a PC guy. Hey, Triple X Post Pone just subscribed. Welcome, by the way, to the Sub Club. Eat fresh. What do you think of Windows 8?
I was in the beta for it, and I hated it so much that I completely wiped my computer to put Windows 7 back on. Which Windows 7 I absolutely love. So this, you hate Microsoft. No, Windows 7 is great. It's a wonderful operating system. Windows 8 was just not what I was looking for at all. The fact that my PC booted slightly quicker was cool. I did not care about at all the sort of touchscreen nonsense that wasn't touchscreen because whatever that front end is. And then I was like, where's the start button? And
yeah, that start button is what killed it for me.
yeah,
having to rely on Metro.
I hear it's better now, but I haven't tried it because I never spent money on it. I am perfectly content to have Windows 7 until Windows 9 comes out, because it seems like every other operating system they make is great. Like XP was great, and then Vista sucked, and then 7 was great, and then 8 sucks. So,
what I think is interesting is I know what they were going for with 8.0. Like, I get it, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be insulting to some of the people that are in the channel right now that are like, hey, evil Rat Incorporated, welcome to the sub club, eat fresh as always. But they were focusing for that, the new user, the younger user, the guy who was used to using his Mac OS, is used to using his iPhone, is used to using a Windows phone to compete with the iPhone, like all three people that have a Windows phone. Hi, if you have one. It's nice to know you, that you exist. But I know that they were going for that demographic who is kind of new, is not technical. You and I have grown up on the desktop.
Right.
So that's what we want. That's what we need. And you take us away from the desktop. We hate it. But if you didn't grow up on the desktop, or maybe if you did, but you've also grown up with an iPhone in your pocket, and you're used to that new OS, that Metro kind of thing, then I get that demographic. Once again, I wasn't ready for it, and I guess you weren't either.
Yeah, well, I don't think most people were. I mean, it has the worst adoption rate of any of their operating systems in forever. Or I mean, probably since before they even recorded things like adoption rates. It's one of those things that aggravates me about Microsoft, because I think that Microsoft makes really great things when they make them, but they're usually really late to the party. So they're like, we're going to make like this, like they have this whole one Microsoft thing, and we're going to make the Surface, we're going to make the Xbox One, we're going to make Windows, and it's all going to have to do with Windows 8. So like it will work with your mouse, and it will work with touch, and it will work with the Kinect. Like, even though using hand gestures to do anything on the Xbox One is a nightmare.
Yeah. It's so bad.
It is.
Like, it's so
I like the
frustrating.
voice stuff. I mean, the voice stuff is shaky, but like I'm kind of into it at this point. But like the whole moving your hands around
doesn't work.
Like,
It just and the worst part about it is when I'm trying to watch Netflix, I've turned gestures off on everything but Netflix, where I can't turn it off. And so I'm watching Netflix, and I've got like a plate of food because I'm fat and I eat in front of my Xbox. I don't give a shit who knows. And I'm eating snacks, and it sees the plate in my hand, and it thinks I'm gesturing, and then it'll go, "Oh, you're gesturing." So the little thing will pop up, it'll disappear, and it'll pop up and disappear, pop up, disappear, like every 3 seconds. Boom, 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 and I'm like, I'm eating a fucking sandwich. Or worse is that I don't have I don't find coffee tables to be very comfortable. They're so low to the ground. So instead I have these fold tables, TV trays basically, and one of them's white. So when the room is dark, Netflix is like, oh, that TV tray's a hand. Wow, wow, wow. It thinks, and the TV tray's not moving. It's just sitting there. But Netflix is like, no, it's completely moving. I can tell it's a hand and it's moving. And I'm like, are there fucking ghosts in the room, Connect? Get your shit together. And then of course one of my friends, and I'm complaining about it when he's over, is like, why don't you just turn the Kinect off and use the controller for everything? Because I like the voice commands, and my wife loves the voice commands. Like every Saturday morning, every night she has off, she walks into the living room, she sits down in front of it, Xbox turn on, and it's bing, and she's like, Xbox, go to Netflix, and it's like, here you are, and she's like, Xbox, show me some Say Yes to the Dress reruns or some bullshit, whatever. I don't know what she fucking watches on her Netflix account. That's why they separated it, but. She loves the voice commands, and I'm not gonna lie, I do too. My favorite one is, now that they changed the increment, is Xbox volume up.
Right.
You're playing Plants vs. Zombies. You're in the middle of a match. You realize you've adjusted to the lower level sound. You want it to be a little more immersive. You want it to be a little bit louder. I don't want to pause. I can't pause the game. It's a live match.
Right.
Xbox volume up. Boop, 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 boop. So good.
Xbox Record That is my favorite thing, because
so good.
Because, well, first off, I mean, Sony has the problem where it's supposed to have the last 15 minutes of video that you played, but that is not true currently, and it's a bug that's existed since November, and they are horribly slow at firmeware updates. And Xbox Record That, like, I'm playing Titanfall, and my Titan blows up, and I fly into the air, and I switch to my anti-Titan weapon, and then I blow up the guy who blew me up, and I go, Xbox Record That, and then I have it. It's just there. It's a tiny clip. When I have to trim it, I only have to take little parts off. I don't have to go through 15 minutes of stuff. I'm not complaining, by the way, about having 15 minutes of stuff. Like,
that's awesome.
I like that also, if it worked. But
yeah, if it worked and if I could share it, the whole system is frustrating in that how the hell do I upload this to my computer? Like where the hell's Dropbox? Where the hell's like, and I love
Facebook.
Sony, I love you guys. I love my PlayStation 4. And somebody just said the PlayStation 4 doesn't have any games. It's just resting on its laurels. I do think they're resting on their laurels in terms of engineering, the software, and the system. I don't think they're resting on the laurels in terms of games because I love indie games. I can't wait. I'm waiting to play Towerfall on PS4 so that I can play it multiple people in the same room. I think that's something I don't know if that's something you can do, so don't quote me. Always research your facts.
No, you can. You can't play it online, which like makes me jealous of you because you have friends.
Yeah, I love.
I don't have anyone to play that game with.
Well, you just moved, so who the hell do you know? Just go round up. So here's what you do. What city are you in? This is going to be the most racist thing I'll ever say.
I am in St. George, Utah, right now.
Oh, I don't even know if you can do this.
East Coast.
In Utah, I don't even know if you can do this, but go down to the Home Depot. Go down to the Home Depot and be like, "Hey, does anybody here want to work today?" And they're like, "Yes." I'm like, "You want to play Towerfall for $5 an hour?"
Right. But that's $60 a controller. Right. I mean, I'm already paying more for the controllers than I'm paying them, and then I feel guilty about that. I mean, that's just a flawed plan from the start.
But you managed to keep me from being racist. I really appreciate that. You cut me off right before I said the racist shit, and now I'm never going to say it. And everybody's going to be like, "What the fuck was he going to say?" But you'll never know. You'll never know.
Nobody knows. Who knows where you were going with that? I think you were going to talk about people from Iceland.
I'm going to do it. Here I go. I'm doing it. Just kidding. All right, so, but no, Dead Nation and, I mean, all these indie games. That's why I love the PlayStation 4. Indie games. That's why I love Steam. Indie games. But at the same time, Microsoft has been paying PopCap to produce these incredibly good smaller games.
Right.
Peggle 2, while, as Total Biscuit told me, it's just the same game. I get that. But it's the same game. It's fun with online multiplayer. That's awesome. There's nothing like having some dude scream at me for getting enough style points to wreck them. That's fun. And of course, Plants vs. Zombies, man.
So good.
So good. So I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, the game lineup, I think, was kind of even between, and especially next month. Now, are you excited for any of the PlayStation 4 games coming out this month, next month?
Yeah. I'm a huge Infamous fan. Like I really liked Infamous, and then I thought Infamous 2 was a huge jump, and then I thought I don't even remember the name of it, but the spin-off sort of like 3-hour-long Halloween-ish vampire thing, I thought that was really cool because it took some chances. Like I feel like they are just getting better and better and better, and having talked to people at Sony, I had one guy tell me they've learned a lot from Naughty Dog, and to expect a lot more from the story, which I think is cool because the setup of the story has always been great, but the delivering of it in the first two Infamouses were not. So I'm excited at it. I mean, he might be full of shit, but if that's true, that would be fantastic. So I'm excited for that, and I'm excited for Fez on the Vita.
Wow, Fez is coming to Vita. Huh? I did not even realize. That seems like a perfect match. Now that I think about it. One of the big things, of course, and then we get all kinds of awesome the Order 1886 information. Every time I see it's just even like a capture from that game, I'm like, oh, that could be so good, but I don't know yet, and so I'm not ready to commit. But everything I've seen so far, I'm like, oh, it just seems like it could be good, and I want it to be good. Yeah. But for those
like, you're a Sony fanboy, why haven't you gone nuts with it? And I'm like, it looks cool. I'm just not ready yet. Like I need to see more gameplay before I'm ready to, and that's part of the problem with the internet is people just want to throw out like, oh my God, that's amazing. Oh my God. And it's just like sort of anonymous where I'm like, no, I actually care whether people go back and look at what I said.
Yep.
I don't want to look like an idiot being like, the ending of Mass Effect 3 was great. Like every journalist ever.
Yeah.
And then you go, and then we played it, and we're like, "What? Were you guys fucking high?"
Absolutely. I am really looking forward to Infamous, and what's exciting to me is that with 6 million units sold, there's a group of people out there, certainly, maybe even as much as half, who came over from 360 and are excited, who've never played an Infamous game.
Right.
And if you are one of those people and you're not sure whether or not it's a game you're interested in, and I see a lot of people chatting about it right now, and they're all like, oh, it's 30 frames per second, and also babies are going to hate it. I don't know what they're talking about. Some people preemptively are hating on that game, and that's okay. You can hate on what you want.
Same way with Titanfall. I mean, like, Sony fanboys had this complete anti-Titanfall campaign that made no sense.
I don't understand it at all.
And it was like, no, actually, it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's not the second coming of Christ or whoever you believe in, but it looks like a cool game.
Yep, and it is, and it turned out it was a really cool game.
Yeah.
And it'll probably never be on PlayStation 4 because Microsoft likes to pay for their exclusives every once in a while, and I can't blame them for wanting to pay for that exclusive. I would, if I got a chance to play a technical demo of that, I would be like, how big do you need the check to be?
Right.
Because that's awesome.
Right.
I would want that to be an exclusive too. But if you're one of those people that are on the fence about Infamous, right now hit YouTube. The first 20 minutes of gameplay is up for Infamous Second Son, and it looks sexy. It really looks fun.
3
it
hours
looks fun.
ago and was just blown away.
And I don't know, is it, somebody's claiming in chat it's downgraded to 30 frames per second. Is it 30? Not that matters, not that frames per second matters that much to me in a non-fast-paced action game. Like driving games, I absolutely want it to be 60 frames per second, and a shooter has to be 60 frames per second. If it's not 60 frames per second, it cannot be a shooter. Period.
I'm not going to go that far, but yeah, the game is 30 frames per second. It wasn't downgraded to 30 frames per second. It was always 30 frames per second. There is some footage out there showing similar scenes where it does look like the graphics have been downgraded slightly, like not to the extent that of what we just saw recently with Watch Dogs, but it does look like it, but at the same time, it looks like they're taking direct feed footage and comparing it with YouTube footage and the compression, and it's hard to tell. Yeah. You can get into all the pissing matches that you want to get into. You can have a PC that has, $2,000 GPUs inside it. When you play Infamous, it's going to look really good on your $400 PlayStation 4. Yep. There's no getting around that. If you want to argue about it, or you want to be a fanboy and say like, oh, it looks like shit. And same thing with Rise. Rise is 900p. Oh my god, it's not 1080p. What the hell?
Damn, it looked good.
That game is gorgeous. You like the character models, especially. That game is exceptional looking.
About as fun as watching fucking paint dry, but
I
did not find it very. I didn't find it very invigorating until I played the multiplayer, and then I played the multiplayer. I'm like, holy god, this is fun. And then I'm like, oh, it's time to upgrade my gladiator. How do I upgrade my gladiator? Well, you could do 6 more matches and open a pack in the hopes that you get a helmet. Or you could spend $6, and I'm like, nope, we're done.
Yeah. Microtransaction thing is awful, and Microsoft is more guilty than Sony, but they're both guilty.
Yep. And one of the big things I think people are going to be confused at, and I get that people feel this way right now. Me and Pete, we love some things and we hate some things, and nothing has to do with brand loyalty. None of it has to do with the system that we have at home, because we have both systems at home. A lot of people right now are going to be like, "Well, you're supposed to hate Titanfall. Aren't you a PlayStation guy?" Well, I am a PlayStation guy. I am a PlayStation Nation for life. I'm a Sony pony, but I'm also an Xbox.
I got a pony in my backyard.
Yeah, I'm so Xbox right now, you can't even imagine. So when Xbox does good, I'm right there now cheering, because they're no longer anti-consumer bullshit. I'm cheering them along. Titanfall is great. Sell that fucker. Plants vs. Zombies is great. Sell that son of a gun. Get it out there. I want it to do well. I'm going to tweet about it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to upload gameplay. I want to take photos of me next to licking the box it came in, And the PlayStation, when they screw up, I hate them. And when they get correct, when they fix it, I love it. It's all the time YouTube comments, and I know you get on your Twitter comments. Why? I thought you were a PlayStation guy. Now you're complaining about Xbox or whatever. And I hope you guys can understand that. Whereas you may be a little more, one track is an insulting term, kind of, but whereas you have a stronger customer loyalty to a thing,
Right.
my loyalty is in the art.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no problem with having preferences. I mean, I have admitted over and over and over again that I have a preference towards Sony. Not Sony Corp, but Sony games. Like I like Uncharted, I like Infamous, I like a lot of the things that they do. But and for a long time, I was like, I'm a Sony fanboy, and this was before anyone knew who I was, and I was making a podcast. And 50 people listened to it, and I was like, yeah, I'm a Sony fanboy. I like this game, this game, this game, this game. I owned a 360. I owned a Wii. This is years and years ago. But I was like, yeah, I'm a Sony fanboy. And then as I got more popular and more, I had more followers on Twitter and all of that, started to realize I'm not a Sony fanboy. These people are fucking crazy. Like they don't care about facts. They don't care about any of that stuff. It's just no matter what, everything Sony ever did is great, and everything that Microsoft's ever done is awful. And I was like, no, I'm not like that. I owned a 360, and now here we are in the next gen. I have my PlayStation 4 over there. I have my Xbox One over there, and like, I play games on both of them. Like, yes, if you had to take one away, I would go with the PlayStation 4, but that doesn't mean I can't appreciate what's good on the Xbox One. And if for whatever reason in the next year I find myself playing more Xbox One than the PlayStation 4, that doesn't mean I turned my back on it, because maybe the following year there'll be more games that will pull me back. It's so crazy that people are like, it's one versus the other, deathmatch. And I thought that I was part of that until I met people who were far crazier than I am.
Xbox Gold is what pushed me towards the PlayStation.
Right.
And I was like, are you pay to play online, pay to use Netflix once Netflix came out?
Well, we're old because we're used to the PC, which everything was free.
Right. And so I was like, you know what? I unhooked my Xbox 360 one day. And I was just like, well, I guess I'll go out and get me one of them PlayStations. And I did. And Silver used to have way more functionality than it has today. The Silver Xbox account, now it's just meaningless to have one. Yep. And so then PlayStation announces the PlayStation Plus network or whatever, and I'm like, nope. Which games are you giving away? Oh, that's a $30 game.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, how many games do I get when I sign up? 6. Shit. Okay, I'll take it.
Right.
That was hard not to do.
Yeah.
And now the Games for Gold is doing their thing. Which is not that great yet.
No.
But it is intrinsically different. That's something that people talk about a lot. They are intrinsically different. PlayStation Networks is kind of like Netflix in that you're done with your subscription. You can't watch the shows anymore with Netflix. Exact same situation with PlayStation Network. You can't play the games anymore until you resubscribe.
Right.
Even if you have it downloaded to your hard drive. But with the Xbox 360, you get a game for gold. It's yours. Do whatever you want. You get rid of gold. Well, you can't play it online, but you can play it.
Right.
In a closet somewhere. It's secret. Right. And I guess if you don't connect, do you have to... Here's a question. You may know. If you have a PlayStation Plus download and your internet is out, can you still play it?
Yeah, you can play it if your internet is out, as long as you haven't reset. There's an internal clock, and there's also, it's saved when your PlayStation Plus account runs out. So as long as you haven't gone past that, you're fine.
Right.
If your PlayStation Plus goes out on April 1st and you've had your PlayStation offline and then you try to play on April 2nd, the internal clock will disagree with the software and it won't let
Dude, you know the tech stuff so much better than me. From here on out, whenever I ever going to say anything online, because I've shut my foot so far down my throat, I can feel it coming out of my butt. I'm going to be like, I'm going to just tweet you all the time. I'm going to just be, hey, Pete, listen. Is it true that the PlayStation 4 has unicorns in it?
Yes. There's 3 of them.
There's three unicorns. Sell technology. Unicorns sell technology. Because I got to tell you, when Major Nelson was here that day, and he's like throwing technical jargon, I was like, well, it does kind of suck that you guys didn't go with more powerful hardware. That's the only, after having the demo today, that's my only real complaint. And he goes, no, man, you don't understand. This thing has 3 CPUs. I think he said it had 3 CPUs, one to control this and one to do that and one to math at me, and then he said there's like a mini CPU that communicates between the 2 big ones, and and then it's 4K compatible right now, but only and I'm like, how? What do you like? I don't understand any of this. I'm just gonna shake my head and be like, I guess I know what you're talking about, dude. That sounds like wizardry to me.
Yeah. Well, he was blowing smoke up your ass at that point. But again, like you said before, it's not because he's a bad person, but that's his job. At that point in time.
I think, and looking back on it, because I didn't like question it, I think what he was saying is, and I know that once internet's ready in America, I think year 2, year 3, both, very important, both Sony and Xbox, PlayStation and Xbox, are going to be relying on the cloud. And PlayStation Now is the way that PlayStation has eased us into the concept.
Right.
Like, hey, here, you can get this awesome backlog of awesome games. And also, by the way, that's how we're going to compute some stuff in the future. But they haven't said that part yet. And and Xbox just came out at E3 and like, hey, the cloud's going to compute all kinds of great shit once the internet's ready for it. And once we, so they've been more open about it. But I think both of them are banking on the 4K technology. The 4K resolution is going to get piped in your home. How that's possible with a 400 gig data cap for $99 a month, or for some of you $60 a month to get a 150 gig data cap. How you're supposed to stream 4K is a complete fucking mystery to me. Thanks Comcast, thanks Cox Communications, thanks Verizon. Actually, I give Verizon a lot of crap, and it's mostly because they're the devil. But also the FiOS system is pretty good. FiOS is pretty good. That's not bad. It's no Google Fiber, but I mean, it's a good service.
I have not had FiOS yet, but it seems like it's speedy.
Oh, if I had it. Somebody found there is, it's unlimited. Someone found what unlimited was, and it was so many terabytes. Like, you had to hit terabytes of transfer data before Verizon's like, hey, man, stop. Like, we said unlimited, but geez. Google Fiber, man, am I right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm ready. Wherever they go next, I'm just going to move to, I think.
They're looking at 36 cities right now. Did you hear that? They're looking at 36 cities as possible candidates. And what they're looking for is they're looking for townships that are willing to invest in Google Fiber so that the town... And I'm like, why is Northwest Arkansas? Why are the Waltons? The Waltons could wire literally. You know how long it would take for the Waltons to save enough money for Northwest Arkansas to have Google Fiber for every home, all 750,000 of us, with how long it would take them to save? Exactly that long. Exactly that long. In the time that it took you to answer that question, they made enough money to pay for me to have Google Fiber. Get off your ass, Waltonaires. Come on, save us from this nightmare. Oh, I know Cox Communications and you guys are best friends, but...
Right.
Oh, whatever. Whatevs.
Comcast is going to be our new lord
it's
soon enough anyway. So
it's not like they'll have 70% market share when they buy Time Warner or anything. It's not like
that's a crazy number. You're just pulling the shit out of your ass.
It's not like it's going to be a actual illegal, by definition, monopoly.
What?
It's not like that's about to happen or anything. And it's not like Congress is not about to just approve that shit for 2 reasons. Number 1, money. And number 2, even more money.
Right.
Because money is awesome, but whatever. I don't know.
You know what, Boogie? You have a fine ass. but you're just pulling shit out of it right now.
None of this
I
is
don't
true.
care how nice it looks.
None of this is true.
I know when you're pulling shit out of it.
Am I even remotely accurate here? Am I? Come on. These people right now are not going to get that you're being sarcastic. You need to confirm.
No, you're completely accurate about that.
Well,
And the weird thing is I've always liked Comcast. Like when I lived in the Northeast for the vast majority of my life, and every time that I had Comcast, they were great. So it's not even like I hate Comcast, but you know what? No one should have that much fucking power.
Yeah.
What they're doing with Netflix right now is ridiculous. I mean, that should scare the shit out of all of us. That should scare the shit out of you the most, because you rely on that. So what if they do to Netflix if they do that to YouTube?
Yeah, no shit. Oh, no shit, it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah,
but you know what Google will do? They'll sign a contract for $50 million over the next 5 years.
It will come out of your
my paycheck. Oh, they're already screwing us anyway. Don't even get me started talking about the fact that I still don't get paid for mobile ads. But anyway, we'll talk about this. They'll spend that. They'll take that $50 million, which is a pittance for Google. Literally, it makes the Walton-heirs look broke.
Right.
And they'll pay that $50 million to Comcast for the next 5 years, and then they will take $1 billion and just build Google Fiber in that 70% market share. And they'll just be like, well, I guess the 5 years is up, kids. Free Netflix for everybody. Like, and don't get me wrong, I get that Google can be evil, and they've been evil to me. They've been evil to all kinds of people. I mean,
they're all fucking evil, which is why we don't want any of let's have them compete for evil instead of giving one of them 70% of the evil.
And that's why right now is the best time to ever game, because you and I and the internet and NeoGAF and Reddit pitted Sony and Xbox against each other, trading blows, one for one, fighting for the consumer to give the best deal to the consumer at the best price with the best game selection, so that they win our loyalty. We win, you win, I win, the viewer wins, the gamers win, we win, and it's awesome. Competition is good.
Right. I agree with you. And as somebody, as a Sony pony, as someone who has a Sony preference, I believe that Microsoft was completely awful from pretty much when they started talking. Like, well, we'll start with Adam Orth, and I have nothing against him personally, but that was just when it came out, and Microsoft's silence about him was deafening. And then going through, them showing off the system, and it was TV, sports, football, whatever. And then E3, and it was like, well, they're showing games, but it's $500, and they're still they haven't given up on the DRM thing. They were awful through all of that. And then about 10 days later, they dropped the DRM, and they have been, in my opinion, far more nimble than Sony has been from that point on.
Yep.
Like, they are listening to customers now. And you want to make the argument, well, they were going to lose money, and that's why they're listening to customers. Yeah, well, welcome to fucking capitalism.
Yeah, no shit.
That's what you do. And they have been listening, and customers were like, well, we want this, and we want this, and I'd like to be able to turn the Kinect off. And they're like, okay, yeah, you can turn the Kinect off. We're not getting rid of it because it's a big part of our ecosystem, but, you can turn it off if you want to turn it off. And they started listening to customers, and they have been reacting to customers, and they still are. I mean, Phil Spencer just said the other day that like their biggest regret is what happened before 10 days after E3.
Yep. Somebody in chat just said Don Matrick was the problem. And
yes.
You can agree with that, and I can agree with that. I have a story to tell you, and I'm so sorry to the Xbox crew that came to my house for repeating the story finally. But they were getting ready to leave, and I'm like, hey, so listen, man, this has been phenomenal. Thank you so much, And just so you guys know, I've had your back, but I have to be pro-consumer. It's my job. This is how I earn my living, is being pro-consumer and parroting the internet. And I think you guys have done a phenomenal job. The system is fun. I can't wait to explore it fully. I can't wait to report back to the internet about it and tell them what I actually think now that I've had my hands on it. This is great, and I love you guys for it. I said, I can't believe the message got so messed up, and someone parroted to the effect, yeah, that's true. And I said, it all comes down to Don Matrick. And when I said that, all three of the representatives looked like I hit them with a baseball bat. And they all got thin-lipped, like clamping their mouth. And they're like, well, that's kind of your opinion.
Right.
And you could just kind of feel, I mean, that nobody verified it, nobody said it, but you could kind of feel that was absolutely the case.
Yep.
And, I mean, anybody with a brain looking from the outside can see it.
Yeah,
but it's good to know that
absolutely.
some of the people on the inside got it too.
Yeah, everyone that I know on the inside got it, and they're still sort of recoiling from the decisions that he made. I mean, a lot of people have been talking about, Microsoft needs to drop the Kinect, and I can make an argument for that. I can make an argument against it. Whatever my argument is doesn't matter. What does matter is facts, and the facts are that Matrick designed the system around the Kinect, and he signed deals with people. I mean, like, consoles don't just get manufactured out of thin air. You talk to that factory. You say, I'm going to order this many million of this part, this many million of this part. I'm going to pay this factory to put it all together. You order all of that shit in advance.
Yep.
And that is true of the Kinect. They cannot just pull the Kinect right now. I mean, they could, but they would have to pay for all of the Kinects that they have contracts in for.
Absolutely.
The whole, well, why don't they just pull the Kinect? They can't. I mean, literally they can, but figuratively they can't. They will eat so much money if they do it. I mean, the contracts start running out near the end of the year. Will we see a Kinectless Xbox One at that point? Of course. But before then, no. There's no chance.
I'll be entirely honest with you. I think they should take the price. I think they should make a price drop. I think they should go and take $100 or $150 loss on the console once they do the price matching price drop. This is if I was the replacement of Steve Ballmer, this is what I would tell him.
Right.
Take the price drop. Let's take the $100 hit. We'll make it back off of selling about 3 games from our licenses.
Yep.
And the attachment rate is higher than that already, so that's fine.
Well, it's like 2.8, but
yeah, give them the software to.
I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, well, no, I appreciate it because I was making that number up anyway, so I'm glad that you said it. Rate on most consoles is generally going to be close to 3. Most people are going to buy 3 games when they buy the console or within the first few months.
Right.
Unless you just bought the Titanfall bundle and you're done, fuck it. But take the $100 loss, keep shipping Kinect, and let them turn it off. But if you don't want to turn it off, teach them during the intro, during the tutorial. Teach them what it can do. Teach them why they want to have it. Because now that
there is that wonderful tutorial that you have to download. To see what it does. Yeah, there's a great voice tutorial that isn't part of the even the updates. You have to go in and download it and learn what all the voice commands are. It's so dumb.
But I do. Now that I've had my Kinect, I can't imagine Xbox without it. And now that I've had the PlayStation 4 camera, I kind of find it to be a bit of an add-on. Didn't really.
Oh, absolutely,
much.
Absolutely.
Did you buy one?
Sony supposedly is working on it, but Sony is so slow with firmware updates that.
And that's really frustrating to me, by the way, because I still can't capture. I got somebody said I got a contact from the Trials Fusion. They're like, Boogie, we'd like you to try the Trials game. We know you didn't play it on the previous systems. We'd love you to play it here. And I'm like, awesome. Send me a copy. And they're like, what system? And I'm like, what's it out for? PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Well, I'd love to have it for the PlayStation 4 because that's where most of my multiplats go.
Right.
Unfortunately, since I can't capture gameplay from the PlayStation 4, even if I stream it, Twitch is not allowed to capture it. Are you kidding me?
They're updating the Twitch app, but yeah, it's not imminent. I mean, like everything Sony does, it takes them forever.
Yeah. 3 or 4 months. We're just setting here. So here in about a minute, we're going to go into subscriber-only mode. We're going to do that for about 10 minutes, Pete, and then I'll let you finally fall asleep. You're on the West Coast, right? So you're not miserable.
Mountain time.
Mountain time. So you're
fine.
not. Are you? Okay, good. We'll keep you for 10 more minutes because I know some of the subscribers are going to have some questions for you.
If you hear noise, I'm not peeing.
Oh, no. Get drunk. What are you drinking tonight? What's the drink of choice?
I am drinking Canadian Club and Coke Zero.
Yum. I am drinking the devil's urine mixed with a little bit of snake venom and also my own urine.
That's
okay.
2 times urine's pretty good.
Also known as water. And a lot of people see these water bottles and they think, oh, Boogie's fancy. Boogie's always drinking that artesian water, that Fiji water. Oh, he's got that YouTube money. Nope. Cheapest water bottle I could find. $1.70, refillable, no BPCs or whatever the fuck that poison's supposed to be that comes in plastic bottles. I Googled that stuff. I could pay $6 for a plastic water bottle over in Walmart for a real water bottle, or $20, like somewhere with $20, or I can get a liter-sized bottle, $1.67. Thanks, Fiji. You people are stupid. Fiji water tastes really good once, and then it's tap water because I'm cheap.
You just did that. I think you probably just got $10,000 for that.
Oh yeah, just got paid. Got that YouTube money. He's got that YouTube money. You ever hear my Cox Communication commercial? You want to hear that real quick?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Hi, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Todd from Cox Communication, your friend in the digital age. Say, listen, have you been fisted in your ass lately? Well, we've got all kinds of brand new ways to do it. For only $119 a month, you can get DVR basic cable. And for only $99 a month, you can get 50 meg down, as long as you don't hit under 400 gigabytes, which at the current speed you could burn through in the first 3 days. We're Cox Communications, the worst friends you'll ever have, because fuck you. That's why. Fucking Cox, man.
Wow.
Fuck it. And they're the best one of the best cable companies in the nation too. Because you know what happens when you hit 400 gig? They send you a letter and say you should upgrade your internet service. And then I called them and they're like, do you have better internet service? They're like, no, you got the best plan already. And I'm like, all right, goodbye. And then I'm like, are you going to throttle me or anything? And they told me they would throttle me at close to 800 gig. That's when the computer's going to put me up for throttling. And I'm like, okay, just so you know, if you ever throttle me, 1.7 million people are going to hear about it in a viral way through my Francis character. Go Google me right now. And the guy says, Mr. Williams? And I said, yes. And he goes, can I call you Boogie? And I said, yes. And he goes, I'm quite aware of who you are. And trust me, we really do not want to upset you. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah, man, I've been watching you since you played World of Warcraft. We're quite aware whose account this is. And I'm like, well, it shouldn't have to be that way. Like, you know who I am. So, okay, I'm the guy. He goes, no, sir, we don't throttle anybody until they reach close to 800 gigs. If they have your plan, and if they're at a lower plan, we won't throttle them until they reach double that plan, and we encourage them to upgrade. And I'm like, well, that's good, but at the same time, don't make me hashtag REKTU, because I will. I fucking hate you. And he's like, I get that you hate me. We understand that, sir. It's here in your file.
Right.
You know, but whatever.
Yeah, that doesn't work as well for me. Like I just moved out here to Utah recently, and all of the internet connections out here are awful. Most of them are microwaved, which I didn't even know was a thing until I moved out here. Yeah. But we signed up with the one cable company, and you can get 30 megabytes down, which is decent, and 1 megabyte up, which, like, as you know, if you do anything with video, 1 megabyte up is you might as well just kill yourself.
Yeah, this stream right here, by the way, is uploading at, well, we've gone through half a gig tonight, and we've done it at, God, I don't even know what speed.
Right.
But thank God Cox's best pipe is a good pipe. At least grateful
Right.
for that.
Right.
You know?
So I decided to pay extra to get 45 down. I didn't even need more down, but now I get 2 megabytes up, which is the maximum that they give us. When I lived in Brooklyn and when I lived in Connecticut, I was able to get in between 60 and 90 down and 10 to 25 up. So that's been a huge deal. And I'm like, hey, I'm famous Mortimer, PS4 no DRM. I got like 3,000 Twitter followers, and 78% of them are bots.
Yep.
And they didn't respond the same way. They just didn't work out for me at all.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to throw it to subscriber-only mode for just a moment and let you guys ask your questions for me or for Pete or just to call me fat because you spent $5. You can do whatever you want to with your $5. Just to give you guys a little bit of comfort, a little bit of fun. My friend Bobby from DayZ is going to throw it into subscriber-only mode. And we'll see what you guys have to say. Boogie, I've been trying to get this question answered for 2 weeks. What are your and Pete's thoughts, if any, on Star Citizen? Now, I will tell you right up front that I think Star Citizen looks incredible, but it's one of those games that I need to wait to see what it's actually going to deliver.
Yes.
What about you?
I have been burned so many times on early access that I have created a rule in which I will not give in. And so far I've done it. I'll give in soon. But
yeah. I'm kind of at a place where early access is starting to piss me off a little bit.
Yeah.
Mostly because I bought War of the Underworld like a year and a half ago and nothing.
Right.
Like a few updates, still technical demo, nothing to do, nothing to play.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, get your shit together. And that's what I worry about with DayZ. Like the head of DayZ just walked away. He's like, "We're done. I'm done by the end of the year." Was the game going to be done by the end of the year?
He said he's going to finish it, which hopefully he will. But I agree with you. Like there are no guarantees in video games in any way, shape, or form. So paying for a game before it's even finished, like I was broken in on that, and I think most of the world, like most of the PC world, was broken in on that with Minecraft. And Minecraft, like when it was in alpha, before he even declared beta, Minecraft was fun.
It was amazing.
And now I'm buying these games where it's like, we're in beta, and I start playing it, and I'm like, I can get 3 minutes into this game, and then all of the AI stops, and then it crashes 5 minutes later for no reason at all. Like, that's not fucking beta.
Nope, that is, at best, a technical demo.
Yeah.
Let's see. Somebody wants us to talk about net neutrality a little bit. That's a topic we can wax poetic on for hours, but the reality of it is net neutrality dying was a bad thing, and I'm one of the people that fought for it originally, using what little power I had at the time. And I would presume that you did the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now that we've seen Comcast put the squeeze on Netflix, and that's now perfectly legal, bad times ahead. If that's the president's and Netflix has wrote the check, how do you feel?
I feel the same way. I actually find myself rooting for Google, which is weird because I think that Google in general knows more about me than I know about me, and they sort of terrify me on that level. But at the same time, Google Fiber just being free and not throttling anything, like it really seems like that's our only hope, because Comcast is just buying things and they're just moving out, and that is fucking scary. I am happy in Southern Utah that Comcast isn't here, even though I only have two megabytes up in my stream, which I just complained about.
Yep.
But I don't have to worry about Comcast's bullshit here.
As much fun as I like to make of Cox Communications, my friend in the digital age, once this merger happens, they will be my friend in the digital age. Like, quite literally, like, I'm going to call them on the day that they approve that merger. And it's going to be like, I would like one, please. I'm going to be like, one. I'm like, one of the all things you have, all of it. All of it. Just give it all to me. Give me the cable, give me the phone, give me, I don't care. To the most expensive package you've got, because I want to make sure you people succeed. I'm going to back you like I'd back a Kickstarter, like I'd back an Indiegogo. Speaking of Indiegogo, X-Bob says, Pete, I love your $1,000 Indiegogo option. Now, we haven't talked about that in a little while, and I want to plug it one more time. Pete is looking to get enough money to put together his own gaming website. Now, as we've established here tonight, Pete absolutely has connections all throughout the industry. He breaks news, leaks news on a continuous basis via his blog, via NeoGAF. That's already happening. This guy wants a formal place to do it that you can come to every day. If you go to Indiegogo and search for Dodd Scientifics, you will find his campaign. Donate $1, donate $5, donate $1,000. What do you get for $1,000? You donate $1,000.
Well, I decided not to go the route of giving out gifts or whatever they're even called, like going through the tiers and, you get this tier and you do this. I decided I created one tier, and it's the $15 tier, and it's all very sort of basic stuff. Like, I want to write a email newsletter, which isn't even necessarily going to be about video games. Like, it can be about whatever's happening that week. There'll be a private forum for people who want to sort of have a more direct line of communication. There will be 4 podcasts a year, which is kind of like what's happening right now. Like what you're doing is like talking to your subscribers.
I'd watch it.
So I want to do that. I put that at the $15. The reason why the $1,000 is funny is because I decided that anyone who pays $1,000 doesn't get the $15 tier. It's like, if you're going to give me $1,000, you have to wait until the site goes live, and then you have to purchase that, because that whole thing is going to become $25 when it goes live. And it's like, if you're stupid enough to give me $1,000, you can give me 25 more.
Yep. Here's another big one. Here's another big one, if you don't mind. Oh, I just lost it. Daisy, EverQuest Next. No, because some of these are such short answers, and I can answer most of these, so I want you to. Watch Dogs and the graphical downgrade and the practice of bullshotting. There's a big one. That's Junk Food Bodybuilding. Thank you, by the way, for that one. So what do you think of, now that we've seen the actual game, or at least what potentially is going to be the actual game compared to E3?
That's a really difficult question, and the reason why it's difficult is because, while I would say the majority, I haven't actually broken down the math, so I'm guessing, but I would say the vast majority of what you see at E3 is just bullshit. And then you get the game, and it's not exactly what you saw, and it doesn't live up to the hype, but it might be good in its own way. But then every once in a while, there's things that are revealed. Like, I thought, like the early stuff that they showed for Rise was like amazing, and then they started showing gameplay of it, and it was janky as fuck. And then the game came out, and it was pretty close. And I felt the same way about Killzone Shadowfall. Where they showed, what they showed at the February reveal, and flying over the city, and then you go down and you land. Like, when I played that level, I was like, this looks like what it looked like in February. So you can't dismiss all of it, but you can dismiss most of it. So I think the thing that an intelligent gamer needs to take from watching any early footage is, are you interested in the concept? Because you cannot trust that the graphics are going to happen. You can hope it's Rise, you can hope that it's Killzone, you can hope that it matches up, but there are no guarantees that it's going to match.
Now, Ubisoft, if you guys have not heard, is doing some spin control, and I have a good relationship with Ubisoft. I certainly don't want to break it, but they're doing some spin control, and they're saying, the Xbox One version is not going to look as nice as we'd like. The PlayStation 4 version is going to look a little bit better. The PC version is going to be the next best thing to kissing God. They said the PC version should look like the E3 demo. And I don't know if that's deliverable. Do you think that's deliverable?
That is... Maybe. I mean, maybe they go the route of Crysis, like the original Crysis, where when the original Crysis came out, there weren't computers capable of playing the original Crisis at the highest level. So maybe they go that route with that game, but I don't see Ubisoft as that type of company. So yeah, no,
Now,
I don't
if my
trust them.
if my contact there is there, he don't give me an early copy of Watch Dogs, because I'm going to be so mad at you. Because I've gotten a lot of their games early so far, and I absolutely want to be able to
Well,
report on that one. On the day I'll sign whatever embargo you need me to sign, just get me a copy of that freaking game so I can say, look, I played it on my 670, which isn't even that monstrous of a card, and it looked like sex. You
I
know,
have a 650, so you're 20 higher than me.
which is a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna let this be the last question. And Bobby, when you get an opportunity, go ahead and turn regular chat back on if you don't mind. I'm sorry, subscribers weren't able to answer every question. But somebody asked, do you ever get heat for being the leak master that you are? Like, do you ever get threats, any legal threats? I mean, because I certainly, by the time it gets to me, it's been filtered 3 times. It's been through NeoGAF, then through Reddit, then to me. And then I'm putting it on YouTube. So they don't give a shit. You know, I'm not ever going to get any trouble.
Right.
But you, on the other hand, what's that like?
I have gotten heat twice. One time personally, and one time sort of anonymous, not sort of anonymous, completely anonymous. And both times were from Microsoft. And I will right now be completely honest about it, because this is what I want to do with my site. I want to be transparent. If someone blacklists us, I actually look forward to writing about what being blacklisted is like, because I think that's something that gamers need to know. Okay. Albert Pinello sent me a private message on NeoGAF, which I took as being half snarky, half asshole-ish, because I called him a liar, and I sent him a message saying, I shouldn't have called you a liar. I don't know that you're a liar. I was guessing that you're a liar, because he was talking about the power of the Xbox One. This is before the system came out. And he was like, you know, we're not giving up any power to the PlayStation 4 and all this stuff. So, and I called him a liar, and that was not fair of me, because I didn't know. I was using the information given to me. And so I apologized to him, and I said, I shouldn't have called you a liar. I don't know this for a fact. I just believe this. And, you know, I took it a little bit too far. And he wrote a message back to me where he was pretty much an asshole and kind of threatened me in a way at the end. Like he's like, if you want to work in this industry, and at this point I worked in a group home taking care of autistic adults. Like, I wasn't working in the industry in any way, shape, or form. I mean, right now I am trying to raise money for an Indiegogo, which I assume means that I'm working in the industry, because I'm trying to make money in the industry. But at that point in time, I was a caregiver, and yeah, so he was kind of a dick. The other thing is NTKRNL, who I always in my mind call not Colonel, who leaked a bunch of information about, like, it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, or no, probably it was the end of January, and he leaked a ton of information about Microsoft, and it was all good news, and none of it was new IPs. It was like Forza Horizon 2 is coming out this fall. Crackdown 3 is coming in a couple of years, and all this stuff. And he's like, here's a picture of the Titanfall Xbox One. And like, I knew at that point in time that the Titanfall Xbox One existed. And I also knew that Microsoft had decided to not produce it because it was going to cost them far too much money, and they weren't going to sell enough of them to make up the money, because they're already losing money on each Xbox One sold. So having a more expensive unit wasn't. But I saw it, and I was like, everything this guy is saying is right. And then I came to the conclusion, I was like, this guy is a controlled leak. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no way. Like, because the people that I talk to, like the people who give me information, they have, they're like, well, here's what we're doing this, but they also have stories of like, here's how or why I hate the company that I work for. And this dude was just 100% positive. Like, everything Microsoft's doing is awesome. And I was like, there's no way that this is real. So I tweeted, I was like, I think this guy's a controlled leak. I think that it's coming from inside Microsoft. And then I got an email that was supposedly from high up at Microsoft. They created a dummy Gmail account to send me this thing that has like an NDA in the first couple lines, like as if you can just put that on an email to shut someone up.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you fucking serious? And the whole thing was, this guy, like, we don't know who this guy is. We're going to press charges. We're going to do all this stuff. And they sent the same thing out to everyone else, like all of the other quote unquote leakers and all of the websites that were reporting on this, because Microsoft going after this guy makes it more legit. I mean, that's them saying
exactly,
like, everything that he just said was real. And it was, I mean, and so like it just came out recently. Like the Respawn showed a picture on Twitter of their Titanfall Xbox Ones, which all of their employees got, and they have a special sound, like a Titanfall sound, where it turns on and it turns off, and it looks exactly like the picture that he showed. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, oh my god, he was real. And yeah, he was real.
It's crazy hearing this. It's crazy hearing this story from your perspective now, like, because yes. I'm kind of aware of it, but it's really fun to hear your side of it. And I've been people are like mad at me because I've been glued at chat as you're telling the story, because I'm waiting for the reactions and stuff. And like, look at him, not us. Look at him, not us. But I'm like, no, your reaction to this is going to be gold. I can't wait to hear it. Because then of course there's a few people like, wow, I never knew, and a couple of people are like, oh, that conspiracy theory bullshit. Right. I mean, you're hearing it straight from the horse's mouth at this point, kids and ladies and gentlemen. I mean, not everybody's kids. I'm just saying, hell, I'm 40. You're all kids to me. Yeah. But man, that's crazy. That is crazy.
I am going to post both of those things at some point in time, and I've gone back and forth about it for months. With the Albert Pinello thing, because that was last fall. But I keep going back and forth. I'm like, like, this was meant for me. Should I post it? But that is what I want to do with this website. I want to show this bullshit that happens. And so I am going to, I'm going to show those letters. And I'm not going to, people can read them. And people can read them and say, you know what? Albert Pinello was right. You're an asshole. Yeah. And if that's what they take away from it, then that's what they take away from it. And I feel better having them read that and think I'm an asshole than just think I'm an asshole because of something stupid like, I think that, Sony has a better system or whatever. Like, let me give you a real reason to think I'm an asshole. So that is something, like, I've been battling, but that is something that I'm going to do. I'm going to post both of those letters and just put them out there. And these are things that happen to even small time people like me. And we'll see if it matters to anyone.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested in giving Pete the power to do exactly that, you're interested in giving the ability to have that voice, he needs your help, and there's an Indiegogo campaign. Bobby's going to post the link here a couple of times so that you can click it directly, or you can search at Indiegogo Dodd Scientifics and give this guy a little bit of a couple bucks. I mean, that's okay. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of these types of projects. From time to time, I'm always worried about investing. But after the past 2 hours of listening to this man talk, I'm eager to see him have a bigger voice in the industry, just rather than posting on NeoGAF and hoping it makes it to Reddit, so that it hopefully makes it to me, so that it hopefully makes it to you. Get all this straight from the horse's mouth, and I'd love to see it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Pete, and this is Boogie to 980, the bad boys of console gaming, who are actually, in reality, the anti-heroes of console gaming, because we may be mad at those corporations, we may be mad at their digital rights management management, their DRM schemes. We may be bad at their anti-consumer policies, and we're willing to wreck them to do it, but we're doing it for you because we love you.
Yeah.
Pete, thank you so much for being with me tonight, man. It's been absolutely phenomenal.
Boogie, you're the fucking man. Thank you so much for having me. I cannot even begin to express how grateful I am.
Well, this has been a lot of fun, man. It's I really the Boogie Nights show has desperately needed some guests. You are been our absolute first guest, and it's been phenomenal, man. I couldn't have asked for a better guest, absolutely. And I'm hoping that we can continue it. I would love to have you back sometime. I'd love to absolutely do this again, just because I like talking to you, and I think they like listening. So we'll see if people are interested in having you back, brother. Thank you so much. I'm gonna let you go now, and I'm gonna say my good nights, and I'll talk with you soon.
All right, take it easy.
Thanks, man. Mm-hmm. Well, that was an eventful night. That was phenomenal.